Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am prepping to have a creative and productive day. And the way that I do this is by a little bit of planning ahead. Now as a mom, it's a little bit hard to have a whole day to myself. I definitely have work days where Byron watches the kids and vice versa. But today, my mom, she's a teacher. She loves spending time with my two boys and also my brother's children. And they go over to her house and they spend the night at my parents' house. So my mom and dad are great grandparents. And so I had a full day, so I planned ahead. And that meant kind of prepping my space and getting some work done and some creative ideas that I had on my mind. And also studying because I wanted to get a little studying in for this herbal course that I'm taking. So I'm going to kind of take you through my day and my creative process and show you kind of how I prep my space. So that's where I'm going to start first. Now, I needed to kind of clean up areas of the house, and I tend to clean in sections anyway. So since I had a plan to be productive and produce some music and then also work on some studying, what I decided to do was clean those areas of the house. So when I'm focusing on cleaning our bedroom, the first thing that I do is I strip all the sheets and the bedding, and I'm going to go ahead and wash that because there's nothing better than clean sheets. And that's, usually my routine when I'm cleaning the bedroom anyway. I'm going to throw the bedding in the laundry. And I use this concentrate that I get in my Grove box, which right now I get a box probably about every other month. This is a glass container, and then you just need a very tiny bit of the concentrate, so it saves a lot on packaging and waste. And then I'm going to use one of these Oxy Boost pods. I also get that in my Grove box, and that's for just kind of giving a boost to white sheets or white towels. And those pods are by 7th generation. So I'm going to get that started. That's going to take about 45 minutes, and then I'll throw that in the dryer, and so that's going to take a little bit of time. In the meantime, what I like to do is clean off the sides of the bed. The sides of the beds and like the end tables, they end up getting really dusty. A bunch of random things end up there, like, anything from kids' cars to wipes. Ozzy's collar or his tag was there, so I have to put that back on him. So I'm going to put all those things where they belong and then just have simple my essential oil sprays, my bedtime spray, and then I picked a vintage flower from the rose garden. I'm going to put that there. That looks a little bit more special and relaxing when you go to sit down and study. Oh gosh. If I'm ever feeling uninspired, not creative, or don't want to be productive, one really quick and easy thing I can do is just clean up the space and add different elements to make it feel more cozy and relaxing of a space so that I'm not distracted when I go to do whatever it is that I want to do and be creative. Don't mind my moves. You can pretty much see my tush the entire time I'm filming this video. I don't know how every shot my tush is right there, but don't mind that. Also cleaning up toys, like some leftover stuff from Easter. Then I'm going to just clean up my Pilates machine because it does get dusty. I mean, the whole house gets dusty. It's just we live on a dirt road and there's dust everywhere. And I think most of the time it's just dust and clutter that makes any space look, kind of messy. So those are things that right off the bat I like to kind of fix. I'm going to move the dog bed outside and just smack that up against a wall just to get any dander or anything off of that. Sometimes I clean the outside of that as well. And then I'm just going to mop and sweep the floor or sweep and mop the floor. And the dresser, same deal. Just move all of the clutter. I actually moved the toys off the floor onto the dresser. So I should probably put those back into their proper space. So moving things back where they belong, toys go in the toy box, just dusting everything. It kind of makes me crazy, but I also have to lower my standards significantly because there's just stuff and dust everywhere at all times. So I usually, if I know I want to be creative and I have time, I try to kind of clean up and make it as organized and peaceful as possible, because then I know I'll be less distracted. This is where I keep my books, my all the different books that I'm studying right now. And I grew up homeschooled, or I started homeschool when I was in junior high. So I love self-study. This tonal harmony book I really love because it really helps me with my composing, and the herbal course I'm loving. There's also a book on that that I'm using also for Oliver to help him read this summer. We're going through that book. Now the next space that I'm going to be working in today is my music studio, which doesn't really get as much traction, but I will say, I don't know why one of my dogs loves to poop in my music studio. I love him, but he drives me crazy. It gets really dusty, so I just put on some incense. My kids, I don't usually burn incense when my kids are around, so since they were gone, I just burned some incense. Just because it's not necessarily as healthy as some of the other options, like diffusing essential oils is a lot healthier than burning incense, but I still really like incense, so I burn it in the studio. And then I dust everything from my speakers to my computer, my piano, and my keyboard. They need to be dusted and cleaned all the time. Even though I use most of these things daily, or really consistently throughout the week, they still get dusty. So I just like to come in and clean it off. I bought this piano this past year pre-loved from a fellow YouTuber named Alex Goot, and I just saved up and finally got myself my first acoustic piano. It was about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, that I bought this keyboard, and that was the first instrument that I bought for myself. And so I feel really blessed to have those things, and I just like to take really good care of them so that they last a really long time. So I'm going to sweep the floors. That's Mate. He's the one who likes to poop in my music room. And I'm going to vacuum. And then you can see back there behind all the cords, I have instruments for my kids too, like children's instruments, because they like to come in here and we like to make music as a family. And I don't know why this is a stomping ground for my dogs. They love to hang out in here. Maybe they just like to listen to the music. I don't know. Is it my favorite? Is it ideal? Do I wish they would sleep on the dog beds that I have for them? Yes, but I try again to not let it get to me, and I just try to remove the dog hair whenever possible because it's kind of gross. I want that to be a place for people to sit. And then these mosquito eaters were like up here in that window, ceiling window. I had like leftover Easter stuff on my desk. I had to just kind of declutter in there, clean up, dust, and then I could, get to work and be productive. So now I want to take you through my creative process a little bit. The music studio or the music room originally was a place for me to practice and create music and write songs. And as I've been doing that more, I've been getting opportunities to collaborate with other producers and write for other projects. And it's been keeping me really busy, and it's really cool because I can, work remotely and then send my files to the different people I'm collaborating with. So this song may end up being for me, but it might also be for another project. I heard this bass line in my head, and I've been messing around with sounds on my keyboard to find the right fit. So I go through a few different sounds until I find exactly what it is that I'm hearing in my head, so that slap bass was perfect. So now that I know the bass line that I want to use and I have the right sound, I'm going to go ahead and record my idea, and then I'm going to start stacking. I also heard some background vocals and a lead vocal too. So now I'm gonna put that in. To find me, to get some clarity, to fit into your mold. Well, that just ain't me. All right, time to put vocals down. My wind chimes are so loud you can hear them in the music room, but when you come back to the vocal booth, it's pretty much soundproofed. So I usually close the door, but just to keep light so you can see. I'm putting down a really quick demo of the background ideas and the lead vocal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You wanna define me, to get some clarity, to fit into your mold. Well, that just ain't me. Well, look me in the eyes and say that to my face. I can do anything, I could do anything, I could do anything I put my mind to. So that's essentially just a scratch vocal for me to get an idea and continue to build the track around my idea.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I want to put a filter on that. I'm going to add like a filter on that so it sounds all fuzz-wah, rather.
Oh yeah. To fit into your mold, well, that just ain't me.
A lot of times I'll get an idea from a bass line that I hear in my head. So that was kind of the example that I just showed you, and I had a vocal that I was hearing as well. But in most cases, I'm sitting at my piano jotting down different chord progressions, and I'm actually working on an acoustic album that will hopefully be out in the fall. And so I'm currently writing for that right now too. It's funny because I've been writing pretty much my whole life, and I used to sit down at my dad's piano and write when I was a kid. As I've gotten older, I've found that it's not only my passion, but it's definitely very healing and very therapeutic for me. So with my acoustic stuff, I tend to kind of write more serious, but I love to have fun with pop music as well and just kind of like express a different side of me. So I'm excited to just kind of share a variety of different music coming soon and some of the collaborative work I'm working on as well. So by the time I was done with that, I was back there for a few hours just trying to get through as much as I could in the studio. And then the bedding was done, so I decided to fix the bed and get that nice and clean for studying. And I wanted to try to get a few hours of studying in because, again, my mom was watching the boys, so I could try to squeeze in as much productivity and creativity as possible. I usually have these mesh drapes that are on the bed pulled back just so my kids and the dogs don't get tangled in them and everything. But when I'm going to relax or when, me and Byron want to just kind of chill in the bed, I'll bring those out. It's really just so beautiful. We got that idea when we went on our honeymoon to Bali. And then I'm putting my amethyst mat down. That's a heating mat. I'm going to talk about that more in a video coming next week. I'm making myself a cup of tea and lighting a candle. I'm going to turn on the fireplace and just kind of set the mood. So it's a very relaxing space. I'm going to put my books down by the mat so I have that warm heating mat, which feels great. The reason I got that initially is because I've been having a lot of, I don't know if it's back problems, the doctors are still trying to help me figure it out, but just a lot of kind of global uncomfortability and pain over the last year. And so I sit on that and the heat definitely feels nice. And then I'm starting the intermediate herbal course for Herbal Academy. So I finished the beginner course. It was definitely a lot of reading, but I did all of that online. And they graciously actually sent me the textbooks to do the intermediate course so I can sit and read through the books and also underline anything or highlight. And it's quite a bit of reading, so it's probably going to take me through the summer, I would imagine, to finish this. And then they gave me some other resources as well, like herbal skincare and some herbal first aid recipes, and I'm really excited to share some of these on my channel. Like I said, next week I'm going to share some recipes that I've been loving. I also got some additional resources to read, such as this adaptogen book. These are herbs for strength, stamina, and stress relief, and then backyard medicine. As a lot of you know, I'm growing a bunch of herbs to make homemade teas and tinctures, and this studying has definitely inspired even more of that. So I had time to really study, and so it was a very productive day from my end of it. And then, sometimes I'll sit down and finish editing as well. And I filmed this video too. So it was a very productive day. I was very happy. And I love that course. It's been so incredible. So your day may not look anything like mine, or your passions may not be what my passions are, but I know that you have a unique passion and unique creativity that you can offer to the world. And sometimes it's hard to be creative and productive. And so these are just a few things that I like to do to just kind of prep the space so I feel ready to have a productive day. So I hope that this video was inspiring in some way. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.